Welcome to one and another episode of Stories of Monetization. Today, we are having with us Mr. Harry Mohan Sharma. Harry Mohan Sharma is a serial entrepreneur from USA. I've seen him from the companies like IT Connect US, now IT Experts US, you could see on the background. Harry Mohan Sharma was one of my manager when I was working in the companies in Bangalore, Pulvati Consulting, and we were there on site at GE. Hariman Sharma, once again, I would like to share that he is a staunch believer of religion, and particularly Sikhism. He is having good faith. He loves to motivate people. He loves to talk about business, entrepreneurship, leadership, and he is well known for his project management skills. Overall, सबसे बड़ी बात, Harry Mohan Sharma is a good human being at heart. Welcome Harry Mohan Sharma to the Stories of Monetization, Season 1, Session 2.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing me live.
Thank you. So, Mr. Harry Mohan, I would like to ask you, we would like to know, like my viewers, even I would like to know, what's your backstory? कहाँ से आप पढ़े हैं? From where did you started your schooling? Then where did you went? And then what all happened?
All right. So I actually was born and brought up in a defense background. When I say defense background, my father was in Air Force. He served Indian Air Force for almost like 32 years before he got his voluntary retirement. So we were like moving every 3 to 5 years based upon the postings of my dad to various Air Force bases within India. So my initial schooling actually started from Bhuj, in Gujarat. And then from there on, we moved on to New Delhi, Rajokri. There was Air Force base in Rajokri. So I studied there uh, for my schooling up to until like fifth standard. And then after that, I actually moved to Amla. There was another Air Force base in MP, Madhya Pradesh of India. And after that, we moved to Bareilly. So Bareilly was basically my base, to be very honest. Bareilly was the place where I did my high school, I did my intermediate, I did my graduation. And, that was the base where we started, with all these kind of small chores of entrepreneurship, wherein we were actually working with small gigs during my 12th standard vacationing time. We had more likely working upon small 2 to 3 months kind of gigs. So my initial career started with Suri Color Lab, where Priyanka Chopra did her first portfolio actually, and I was basically a order taker. When somebody used to come, they used to place an order. During that time, there was Kodak films which used to come. So those Kodak films were coming to the development center at Suri Color Lab. We used to develop those into negatives, and from negatives, we used to develop into the photographs. That's what I used to probably take the orders for. So I learned a very, very good lesson from Mr. Rohit Suri, how to actually expand business from there on. Because at that point of time, he was actually digitalizing his business. And I'm talking about in the year around 1999, 2000, So think about it. That man having digitalization happening there. He opened up a complete digitalized lab at that point of time in Bareilly, which is, but I mean, I'll not call it as a metropolitan city, but I mean, it's a B class city, which is very good, But during 1999 2000, he set up the complete digital lab for digitalization of the photographs, and I was the one who was actually taking care of that digitalization over a period of time. Like I worked for a very small stint there, maybe 6 months, but within a month he could gauge that I had interest upon computers and IT and all. So he put me directly into the digital lab, and I started doing digital labs from there on. And Fortunately, my father got posted to Bangalore during this time, and my father said, okay, let's go to Bangalore because we have having a posting, and we went to Bangalore. So I studied there for IT courses. I actually had requested my father. At that point of time, the fees were really, really high for NIIT technologies, computer courses, and all. So I enrolled into DNIIT course. I studied computer. My only intention to learn computer was, computer, you can play music. That was the only way why I wanted to actually learn computer. And I'm always a music lover, music fan. So, I mean, for me, if computer can play the music, I would like to learn it. How it can play the music. That's what it is. But over a period of time, I started learning SQL, Java, all these languages and all. And, that's how exactly we started. And then uh, during that point of time, like I'm talking about 2002, 2004 era, there was a huge peak for BPO companies, you know. And I always wanted to get into BPO because they were paying good money. You're working in the night, you have good college, college crowd, which is coming to the workplace, and you can have good fun. But as I was actually coming from Bareilly, and there everything was in Hindi, and BPO you need proper English. Until and unless you do not have proper English, you cannot actually get into any BPO at that point of time. They will have a language test, they will have a accent test, and all those kind of things. So I was actually getting interviewed, getting rejected. Every time, whenever I used to do an interview, I used to get rejected. Every time I used to give an interview, every time rejected. I've been rejected by multiple companies. At that point of time, there was multiple companies which were coming up with call centers and BPO centers in Bangalore. So we used to go all the places for interviews, and we used to say about our introductions and all that. And you know, they could find out that we have mother tongue influence because I'm a Punjabi. So they used to find, oh, okay, you have mother tongue influence, you cannot actually fit into our American call centers or whatsoever it is. So I was like, okay, no problem. So uh, you know by God's grace, I got into one BPO which was basically called as Aditya Call Center at that point of time in Bangalore. So I got in there, and then that's how we started doing like English training, all these extempores and language trainings, accents, and all that. So I learned a lot of training. I did a lot of training there. I learned a lot of things from that training and all. There used to be a teacher called as Vidya Iyer. She used to teach us like how to handle the customer, what is the customer management skills, this, that, and also, I mean, it took us like a good amount of time, like 3 months for getting us trained to that level where we were. And once we got into the job, we found out that they lost their BPO processes, so we were again out of job right after training. We were again out of job. And during this point of time, we found out like there are multiple other companies who are hiring. So I got into another company called as Delta World Telesystems, and I got that offer from Pune. My family was in Bangalore. I got an offer from Pune. I went to Pune, worked there, and we were waiting again for the processes. During that point of time, transition of processes were happening. And if there is a process which has been transitioned over, it's good. If the process has not been transitioned over, that call center is gone out of the business. Okay. So two times in a row, I lost that bet. We did not get that transition even at Delta World. So then I moved for a very short stint to Wipro and Cycle, where we were supporting Dell computers and AOL, online sign up processes and all that. I worked in Wipro in Delhi. Then I worked in Pune for Cycle, Pune and Bombay for Cycle and Delta World and all. During this time, I always had a wish to come back to Bangalore. So I came back to Bangalore and I actually joined. I was a third employee for HPCCC, which was HP Hewlett Packard Captive Contact Center. My name my name was Hugh as a prototype name, and I used to take a call. My name is Hugh. I would like to support your HP Total Care product. Let me know how I can help you and all. So that's how exactly I got in. And there I had good interaction with good people, good managers, and I learned a lot of good things from professional standpoint at HP. And from there on, I started building up a flair for recruitment industry in the year 2004. I was like, I wanted to get into recruitment, and recruitment was my bread and butter, like kind of a thing what I wanted to build upon. And in the year 2004, I started doing recruitments and all that. And I got my first offer as a business development manager for acquiring new clients at India Infoline. There was a company called as India Infoline. So I worked for them for a couple of months. And then after that, I got another offer working for Infinite Computer Solution, ICS, in the night shift. We used to work with the hiring for IBM in the US geography. So that was my first stint when I started working with US. So I had like previous call center experience, I had communication skills, and now I was learning the recruitment. So all these things together came in, and I started monetizing it. That's what where we wanted to start monetizing the things, and that was my first job when I started with like recruiting for IBM through Infinite. Infinite Computer Solution is very prime partner for IBM, so we started working with them, and I worked there for a couple of years, and then I got another offer from Datamatics Limited. And Datamatics Limited, I was basically the strategic services business account manager for managing their IBM account. And my boss gave me a target. Within a year, you want to touch probably 100 people on the professional services standpoint. I achieved that target in 9 months. And I was like, my boss asked me, what do you want? I said, sir, I want to go to US. And I simply asked him straight front. I was like, I worked enough in the US geography being in India. I would like to actually get on my hands on there, and I would like to see how exactly it works in the US. So he said, okay, we'll get your visa and immigration stuff taken care of. You go to US. So I said, okay, no problem, sir. So fortunately, we got into the conversation wherein I got my visa stamped and everything and all. And, and during that point of time, Datamatics could not actually take up the ownership to send me to the US. So they actually told me we cannot send you right now because there is no need in our US office and all. So I actually had to look an option where and I can actually move on to the US. So I joined a company called as Infotech Global, which is one of the healthcare partners with many of the New York states and New Jersey states and all. So I joined them and I was there for a couple of years with them, and then uh, during that point of time I got married, and my my wife also wanted to work because she was working in Dell, so she wanted to work. And in the US at that point of time, on dependent visa your wife could not work, so I actually explored another option, another geography, which was Singapore. And we started working with the multiple options, and I joined company called as Pinaki Technology. There I used to work with the CEO of the organization called as Sharat Srivastava, very renowned, very simple guy, very solid guy, resolved guy. I have learned a lot of good entrepreneur knowledge from him, while he was running his business. So there we built up the SAP training business by itself. And we also build up recruitment staffing. I used to work with Singapore Stock Exchange directly, SGX. These were kind of clients what we were working with. And from there, I got another opportunity back in the US. So I came back to the US, and I started joined as basically, a VP for sales. And in 2010, 2011 timeline, at that point of time, I thought, let me try out, something new in my life. I would like to probably give a hand for my entrepreneurship at that point of time. So in the year 2009, 2010, I started doing, this a new company, which was basically into resettlement solutions and IT consultings and all. But during that point of time, we had a recession hit. If you remember, there was a Lehman Brothers hit, and also we had a lot of payments which got stuck and all that, at that point of time. So we thought, okay, let's look at it how it goes. And within a year, we grew that company from $3,000 to 13.5 crores revenue business, in INR. And but unfortunately we could not get the payments, and I had that failure, big time failure, which made me learn a lot of good things, how to run the business, what is the employee all about, what is the relation all about, how do you manage these things, how do you do that. And then I moved to the US right after that failure, and again back again to the US, and I was like, let me start. And I started working with multiple companies. I worked for TransUnion, I worked for Kellogg's, I worked for United Health Group, more or less, many of the companies like that. And gradually, in 2015, I started again another organization called as IT Connect US, which got acquired in the year 2019. And after that, I started working with multiple other projects at the same time. So we had, this what do you call, new company called as Subzi Boxes, which is an e-commerce grocery online. During COVID time, we started that business. We have eDoctors now, and IT Expert US, which is again a full-scale custom software development leading software company right now, which I'm running. So that's all about my story from the background to till now, how exactly it's been, but more or less, what I have learned from all is, you need to be persistent, you need to be hardworking, and you need to keep doing what you're thinking as one focus point, what you wanted to achieve in your life. And I've been doing, and I've been pretty much okay. I'll not say I'm pretty successful right now, but yeah, I'm just trying my best bet right now to make it happen.
So while you were working, I would like to ask you while you were working, and normally because when you're working, you generate certain kind of skill, and there are
Mhm.
other certain kind of skills like soft skills or some other skills also. What was the point of time when you the bug called entrepreneurship did bite you, or you thought of monetizing whatever you have learned over the period over the period of time, or in terms of hard skills, in terms of soft skills, you just thought of that, okay, now let me monetize who I am. Let me not monetize the work process of the company. Let me monetize me. So when was that time? What was that moment? What were you thinking? When did that happen?
So that was the year 2008, 2009. I told you, right? That was the first time when I wanted to start something. So that was the year when I thought, okay, I should try something on my own, because I always wanted to try something on my own. But believe me, I always believe, in entrepreneurship, until unless you do not have a failure, you do not have a success. So if you want to really monetize your skills, monetize your level of expertise,
Knowledge.
you got to have probably a failure in your life. Until unless you do not have failures, you cannot. I think we all learn, there are a lot of proverbs which keeps circulating over multiple WhatsApp media channels and all that stuff. Failure is the success. Failure is actually the ladder to the success. And for me, I think it's 100% proven. That's what it is you know
Okay. Okay. That's amazing part of the story and amazing part of the journey. Now, if I would ask you, like, if there is somebody out there working or non-working or whatever, maybe somebody who is into corporate job with 5 years of experience, 10 years of experience, 15 years of experience, normally Saturdays and Sundays are available. So,
Mhm.
as a corporate professional who is now looking at utilizing his Saturdays and Sundays to monetize his knowledge, what would you recommend? आप क्या recommend करेंगे उसको कि the person who is in corporate, forget the number of years, maybe it is 5, maybe it is 10, maybe it is 15, maybe it is just 2 or 3 only, but Saturdays and Sundays are available, but that person wants to monetize the skills or the knowledge, the lifetime, because we are not the sum of 2 or 3 years or 5 years of corporate experience. We are the sum total of the number of years we are into this world, our total existence into this world. If you are a 28 years old guy or a 28 years young, I would say you have 28 years of experience in this on this earth. So what do you recommend a step by step process for a person who is into corporate and want to monetize his knowledge?
See, I believe in one thing, and this is very, very, truthful mechanism what you want to work with. I believe if you're actually doing a job, keep doing the job. Don't ever deviate yourself in monetizing in multiple other arenas. If you're doing one job, just do one job. You can probably become the CEO of the company if you have that focus. Okay. But if you want to do 100 things at the same time, nothing is going to work. Believe me on this. You want to put one thing at one time and focus on that. That's how exactly you scale up the business, or you scale up your skills, or you monetize your skills and knowledge, how you wanted to do this. I have seen, in my life, people working in 20 different things at the same time. And at the same time, they could not actually focus on even one of those. So I always suggest focus on one thing, build it up, make it happen. Then, if you think that your time allows, everything is all going good, once you have a successful, proven story for your own belief, then go on to the multiple other things where you wanted to start doing more other things, what you might be thinking of from that perspective.
Okay, that's the great piece of advice. And even I would second your opinion because that's what I've read it from Nikola Tesla also. Tesla also told that I haven't built so many businesses uh, parallelly. It was just one business at a time, full 100% dedication. And once that is, I'm through with that business, now the next business is on in life. That's
Yeah,
how
there is always see, if you focus upon one thing, you can sell it or you can make it happen more easily, you know and I have always been fond of reading books and taking all these extracts from there. I've read from Ross Perot, who built Perot system, which was later acquired by HCL and then by Dell. So he said, no matter how much ever good product you have, until and unless you market it well, you cannot sell it. And for marketing, you need focus. You want to probably make that reach. Until unless you do not market it well, you cannot sell it. That's the bottom line. So that's how exactly it goes.
So to sum up, I would like to say, like as you mentioned, it's all about focus, clarity, marketing, and then just the one thing. As the book of Gary Dessler also
Hard work.
says, Gary Kessler, yeah,
On top of it, everything comes with the hard work,
hard work.
Ashish. So if you do not have hard work, you do not have anything.
What's okay? Thank you. So, what's the final thing you would like to share with the audience, with the people, the person who is watching you, looking at your story? Because you are the star of your story, you are the actor of your story, and each one of us wants to know us actor ke dil se. So, there is something called dil se. What is that one piece of advice from dil se? Kya hai wo piece of advice dil se?
Okay, so that advice is keep the secret on. You know what your secret is. Keep that secret on. You will get it. Okay. I had my secrets. I have my secrets, and I'll keep it on. So does you guys. So keep your secret on, and you will get it. Okay. And more or less, people who have not read that book, The Secret, please read that book. You will get to know what is the secret all about. Okay. So there's a book called as The Secret. You just go and read
By
that book,
Rhonda
the
Byrne.
secret on, and you are there. Okay. So
Okay.
I mean, from the dil se wali baat, keep that secret on and keep doing hard work. Focus rakho, you'll get it there. Okay.
Sure.
So that's all I can say. And thank you so much, Ashish, for your valuable time. Meeting up and discussing. My past memories. I have never even thought about these memories when I had been sitting on my own, what I have done. It actually was a quick refreshing moment for me, for my life also, where I started from and where I am. So I'm always thankful to my family, my all my colleagues. uh, we have worked in GE together, for a very short stint for a consulting assignment. So what my ethical work cultures are and how exactly we have worked together. All these has been part and parcel of my family's respects, feelings, all those things which comes into the into the work, which gets reflected ultimately. So I'm always thankful to people like you and people like my family, all my colleagues and all that. Thank you.
I would like to mention one anecdote where both of us were working together. And when I was working in GE, Harry also was there in GE. And I got an interview from Oracle. And he was the person, even though he was my manager. And he took me for the interview. And that was one such day I'll still remember my whole life. You know what he said? What I remember, Harry, you said, आशीष अगर मैं नहीं लेके जाऊंगा तो तू अपने आप ही जाएगा, जाना तो है ही. So why not me? If I am supporting your dreams, I'm supporting your work. The only thing is what I require from you is you give your 100% if you are give here for 9 to 6 or whatever time, even if it is for nine to not for 9 to 6, if it is 9 to 4 only, and for 2 hours you are going anywhere, you are going for any interview, you are going for any party, but for the remaining hours, if you are giving 100%, I'm done. And it is me being the manager, it is my responsibility to cover you up. And
Absolutely.
that was amazing thing, because that gives you a lot of freedom, that gives you a lot of a cushion, that there is
Absolutely.
somebody taking care of you, there is somebody who is going to cover you from the back, like in the all the territorial armies, and then all other places we have the covering battalion also. So there is a battalion in the front and there is a covering battalion. So when there is a covering manager or a covering battalion in at your back, and then you go all in. Thank you, Harry,
Absolutely.
for that moment and that time, and
My pleasure. My pleasure.
thank you for
Always.
the day. And today we have discussed about your story, shared your story, and I'm sure people, the audience here, would really pick out something, because I have also again picked out today from your story. Thanks for your time,
Thank you.
and
Thank you, Ashish. Appreciate your time.
thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.